welcome to the first ever episode of Watch the Throne. I am your host, King Ricky Rose of the Kings of the Rings podcast, KOTR underscore podcast on Twitter, Kings of the Rings podcast on Facebook, KOTR underscore podcast on Instagram. I run them all, so if this is your first time seeing me, hi, how you doing? Didn't expect me, did you? Anywho, so as this is the first episode of Watch the Throne, I'm going to tell you how things are going to go. So each and every week from here on out, exclusively on rantwithant.com, I am going to be talking about one subject and one subject only for a couple of minutes. It could be anything going on in wrestling, in WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor, or just wrestling in general. Anything that I think is has been a big deal within this week of wrestling. So the first topic that we're going to talk about is a pretty hot button topic within the internet wrestling community, the IWC, on Twitter this past week from Monday Night Raw, and it is the performance of Brie Bella during that six-woman tag match, because the Riot Squad can do nothing but just be in six-woman tag matches. And then specifically within that tag match, most noticeably, Liv Morgan suffered a concussion from Brie Bella doing kicks, and Liv Morgan got kicked in the face twice and pretty much got knocked out. Totally unconscious. If you watch the replay again, it's a pretty scary and horrific scene that you are seeing in the ring. Now, do I think that Brie Bella did that on purpose? Absolutely not. I don't think any. I mean, there have been tales of when wrestlers have gone in the ring to deliberately hurt their opponent. It's very few and far between these days. I don't think Brie Bella had the intention of knocking Liv Morgan out. Um, I don't know if Liv Morgan could have done anything to protect herself in that moment. Usually, the yes kicks that have been patented by her husband Daniel Bryan are a pretty safe move. But then again, Daniel Bryan has been doing those moves continuously all of his life. It's a very strong style thing, and um, up until Brie Bella and Daniel Bryan became a very public thing, Brie Bella wasn't using those moves at all. Brie Bella wasn't using much of the move set that you see her use until maybe post Total Divas, and the whole Brie mode thing became like this huge thing from the show. But what's scary to me is that a couple of things from that. One, the Brie botching and knocking out Liv Morgan, um, and two, the fact that Liv Morgan was kind of able to continue in that match. And I don't know whose call that is. Liv Morgan, is sticking to the old adage of you always finish the match, which can come to bite yourself in the face, like later on down the road. Liv Morgan is now within a concussion protocol, so we don't know if Liv Morgan's going to come back anytime soon. How she's feeling? I mean, we wish her the speediest of all recoveries, especially with the monumental pay-per-view that no one's talking about, Evolution, coming up within about 4 weeks from this recording. However, here's the thing here. We need to go back to Brie Bella. This isn't the first time in that match that she botched. She also pretty much gave a stiff forearm to Ruby Riot, and that one's pretty blatant on TV as well. But then again, this isn't the first time she botched since her return. She botched a couple of suicide dives a couple of weeks ago on Raw, and now it's becoming concerning. Like, it's one thing to put yourself in danger, because wrestlers do that pretty much all the time by themselves. But it's another thing to then potentially be harmful to other wrestlers that you're performing with. I mean, Seth Rollins had this issue, and he seemed to be cursed with it for about a year or so, with retiring Sting prematurely, and then also injuring Finn Balor, and Finn Balor pretty much has never been the same since. But in these instances, minus Sting, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, they were continually wrestling. Brie Bella has not wrestled in a WWE ring, or hasn't wrestled consistently in about 2 years or so. I was there at her match, at her final match, what we thought was going to be her final match, on the pre-show of WrestleMania 32 in Dallas. and then she disappeared. She was doing Total Bellas. Obviously married Daniel Bryan. She had a child, Birdie, and then all of a sudden with this Daniel Bryan and Miz thing and the Daniel Bryan controversy, will he sign? Won't he sign? What's he gonna do? Brie comes back. She comes back, and she is rushed into a very high and hot feud within WWE, Daniel Bryan and Miz, followed by their wives. Usually, when someone is injured, when someone has taken a significant amount of time off and needs to get back into ring shape, they usually, what they did, especially with Finn Balor, they brought Finn back and they had him do house shows. However, I don't know if Brie Bella was awarded that luxury of doing shows, doing a house show. She was a surprise to have her come back and to have her show up. Um, so I don't know if she was able to get that moment. I mean, regardless, I'm not trying to give her an excuse, but I'm trying to kind of make sense out of this whole thing. She hasn't wrestled in 2 years, and now you're expecting her to be in high-profile matches with some of your most popular wrestlers. And as my friend, as my co-host of Kings of the Rings podcast, Dusty Dave, KOTR, Dusty Dave on Twitter, said this could actually have the potential to potentially ruin other feuds. The Daniel Bryan and Miz feud is a feud that potentially will crown the next WWE champion on SmackDown. Now imagine Brie Bella is doing those kicks and botches again and knocks out the Miz. Or maybe the Miz ducks and then she knocks out her own husband. Now you have two of the more popular people on concussion protocol, may not be able to go, may not even be able to hold the title. Something has to be done, and I'm not trying to blame Brie, because I think she's been getting a bad rep on social media, especially Twitter. And I didn't know there were so many Liv Morgan fans. To be honest with you, like I'm not a fan of Liv, but I also don't want to see anybody ever really get hurt like that in the ring. But this is becoming a massive concern. Brie Bella's never been a strong wrestler. I haven't seen that much of a vast improvement like I've seen in Nikki throughout the years. And this could be an issue, especially if she's getting a lot of the spotlight and Nikki's really not doing anything, especially after John left. No offense to them, but Miz won that feud. But if Brie's going to continue to be in these feuds with these high-profile performers, this isn't a mid card, this isn't lower card, this isn't lower tier stuff. It's a main attraction feud. She's got to get better. She has to do something to get better. I don't know what that is. I don't know. It's just she needs to get the ring rust out. I mean, like I said again, she hasn't wrestled in 2 years. I don't know if she needs to, work more dates to get back in. Maybe she needs to train hard. I don't know. It seems kind of like petty excuses to me, but something needs to be done, or else a lot of storylines could start going by the wayside. They always want to look out for wrestler safety first, because without them, we don't have a show, and without them, I'm not able to do this show on a weekly basis. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's kind of my little bit of a rant this week. For the first ever Watch the Throne episode, please leave some comments below on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram. Contact me on my personal social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, at Ambassador Biggs, BIGZ Ambassador Biggs. If you want to hear some more content about other things that we have to talk about this week, including Super Showdown, the build up to Evolution, all of our surprises for the Evolution pay-per-view, and also the entire month of October, go check out tomorrow on SoundCloud, on Google Play, on iTunes, at Wrestle Addict Radio, the Kings of the Rings podcast, episode 117. It is sure to be a good one. But until next Thursday, folks, my name is King Ricky Rose, and this has been Watch the Throne.